We're here with head coach Justin Wilcox. Go ahead and let me know in the chat that if you do have a question, and we'll go ahead and get started with Jeff Ferrato. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, good morning. For another minute or two, Justin, can you just give us an update if there is one on any injury situations to Carlos Brooks and as usual, Coin Ding?
Yeah, nothing new with Coin, and DeCarlos will be day to day. So he's graduated into a day to day as opposed to a week to week.
And what have you seen on tape of Oregon State's offense, especially their run game? I think they're 7th nationally. They're averaging like 245 yards a game on the ground. What makes them so effective?
Offensive line play, running back. They do a great job schematically with the different runs. You know, the different personnel groupings. They utilize the tight ends. They have skill at receiver. They'll fly sweep you, the Z arounds. Quarterback gets in on it with some of the, RPO and some run pass keep stuff. So they're just doing a really good job overall. But it all starts up front with the O-line. They're a talented group. All the starters are back, and 3 of those guys are all conference players, are big and physical. The line of scrimmage generally goes moving forward for them. So it'll be a really, really good challenge for us defensively.
And BJ Baylor was a guy we didn't see that much last year. What's your impression of how good he's been?
He's a very talented guy, runs downhill, one cut. He can run through arm tackles, and then when he gets out in the open field, he can go. So he creates explosive plays. I think Fenwick's good. Trey Lowe is a good back that comes in and makes some explosive plays. So they're very skilled at that position. And
as well as you play defensively against Colorado, this is going to be a different challenge, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, it is a different challenge. And, our guys understand that, and it'll take a really good week of preparation because they're a talented outfit, and they got real good scheme. So.
Thanks.
Yep.
Okay, we'll go to Trace Travers from Rivals. Go ahead, Trace.
Yeah, Coach, one thing you said a few weeks ago was that you'd ideally like to be in that 65 snap range on defense, potentially to save a few guys as far as, stamina concerns during a game. You guys only had, I think, 48 snaps on defense against Colorado. How much does that help you health-wise moving forward?
Yeah. 48. Was that the number, Trace? 46, 48, whatever it was. That's
mine might be with penalties.
Yeah, that's a very low number. That doesn't happen very often. That's a combination of getting off the field on defense, third down defense, and the offense also converting and possessing the ball. So that's pretty unique. I maybe in the course of my coaching career, that's only happened a handful of times. But it is big because essentially there's some games where that's a half a game. There's some games where we're in the, mid 80s or 90. It's a half a game on their bodies. And so, it's noticeable when you come back in on Monday, if you only played, 30 snaps or even 40 snaps compared to 70 or 80.
And on another topic, I know it doesn't entirely matter now since it's after the game, but was there a point where you could have inserted a backup quarterback for Chase in the last couple of drives?
We discussed it. There's some other factors that kind of we talked through about that, and it was we were wanting to make it kind of get it out of that 3-score range. It was a 3-score game really from half on, and we were really looking to try to make it a 4-score game before we started substituting, just the way things go in college football. So yeah.
And I know you tell us not to look too deep into the depth chart, but I noticed Tommy Christakos isn't on there. I know he's at the 4-game limit for if you want to redshirt him. Is that the plan as of right now?
We'll see. Tommy has worked through a couple bumps and bruises, and so we'll kind of see where he's at this week and next week. But I think that'll be a week-to-week deal from here on out, Trace.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Jim McGill.
Hey, Coach, the defensive line had tons of success on the rush, obviously, with all those sacks. Looks like you guys were doing something a little bit differently. Darius's sack looked like he looped around and came in unimpeded. Oren looked really nice out there. Were you mixing things up a little bit?
You mean personnel groupings or just the line movement?
A combination of the two.
We've had the personnel groupings. I think I mentioned this after the game. In order to get in the obvious pass situations against most offenses, you got to be on their side of the 50-yard line, because most teams in this day and age, once you get to midfield or in plus territory, you have third down and long could be a run, and they're going to get into a fourth down situation or try and split one on you. So the obvious pass situations came up because we held them to third and long on their side of the field. So we got that personnel grouping in the game. And then, the pass rush stuff is not much different than we've done at other points during the season. We were just more effective. We had some more individual one-on-one wins. We've had stunts and loops in other games as well. We just were able to capitalize and get some of those pressures in those situations with four-man rush better than we had prior.
Did guys like Oren and Darius potentially find themselves a little more playing opportunity after that game?
Yeah, I thought they both did a good job. Again, we've trying to carve roles out for those guys throughout the year, and it was good to see them get opportunities and capitalize on them. So that's what we're always looking for, is when the guys get a chance, earn the reps in the game, is to go out and produce in the game. So it was good to see that.
With just the 3 second half points, the quick impression might be that you guys kind of took the foot off the gas, but it looks like on most of the drives there was untimely penalties or something else that was stalling those drives. How do you get to the point where there aren't so many second half situations where you're in second and long, third and long, or the defense gets predictable? Yeah,
don't get penalties. Mm-hmm. That's how you do that, is not to foul. And so we, the foot off the gas theory, as a matter of fact, it was just the opposite. We came out, at halftime, that's all we talked about, is keep the pressure on. Let's go put the ball in the end zone. We need to score in the, so it was not a conscious effort. We had too many penalties, which put us behind the sticks, and we weren't able to convert.
Yeah, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go back to Jeff Ferrata.
Yeah, Justin, this is a little bit out of left field, and it's based on something that Trace said about whether you could get any of the backup quarterbacks on the field. Given what the NCAA did with eligibility this year, does Chase have any more if he wanted to? If he wanted to come back and play next year, or is he done?
Every player has the ability to apply for that, essentially a guaranteed waiver of a year. So anybody in his class would have that opportunity. And so what we'll do is at the end of each season, we'll sit down and talk to those individuals and see where they're at. Now, I spoke with all those guys in summer on how they were approaching it mentally. And we talked then, and then we'll talk after the season as well. And it's really not a discussion for now, but anybody in his class or below essentially has that opportunity to get another year of eligibility due to the COVID year.
And I realize we're in the middle of the year and nothing is going to be decided, but if he were to learn that, let's say, he wasn't going to get drafted or drafted anywhere where he would like to, do you think it would make sense for him to consider coming back and playing again?
Yeah, I think all the guys, again, in his class, and he and Nico and I guess it would be Tonjes and Chris Brown, all those guys are going to have decisions to make, and we'll help as best we can at the end of the year. It'd be hard to, the hypothetical situations are infinite right now, kind of being in the middle of the season. So at the end of the year, we'll help all those guys gather the information. We'll sit and talk to them and then determine what's best moving forward, because it'll be both the us and the player need to talk it out.
Something you haven't had this before, right? This is a different kind of scenario, right?
Correct. Different for everybody, new for everybody, where you're a senior kind of, and so it is unique. But those are things, again, we talked about at the beginning of the year and then said, all right, we're going to sit down at the end of the year, and there's just a lot of football left to be played. So their minds, I think, really focused on that right now, as are the coaches and everybody else's.
All right, good deal. Thank you.
Yep.
And go back to Trace Travers.
Sorry about that. Come back to me, Kyle.
Okay, is there anybody else with another question there? Trace was the last in the queue at the moment. See how quickly he can rebound here. Anybody want to help him out? Trace, I think you're the last question if you are
Yeah,
able to
sorry
ask.
about that. The dog saw a cat. I wanted to ask about Christopher Brooks, since we are talking to him after here at 1 o'clock. He's looked a lot healthier recently. Has that been just the big change for him, that he's been able and he's gotten more carries because of it?
Yep, I think that's a good assessment. He's running physical, he's blocking, and he's making, running through tackles or stiff arming people. Chris is a powerful guy, and again, when he's healthy and feeling good, he's a guy that can make some really good plays for us, run game, pass game, and protection. So happy for him, and we want to continue to get him more and more involved moving forward.
And he did have that one big run on the, I want to say it was a trap or a wham or something like that.
Yep.
He kind of just, went straight forward there. Do you want him to show a little more, I guess, patience once he gets to the second level when it comes to runs like that? Or do you want him to just,
Yeah, well, he
ramming
did.
speed?
It's a downhill run. It's a quick hitting run, and you saw it right, Trace. And then once you get to the second level, we want to either run away from the defender, or in some instances, it's best to run right at him and put the defender on his heels, and then at the last second you're going to make your move there. So he made a real nice run, and it's a run he's good at. And we got into the second level, and now the next phase is, how do we make that second level guy miss? Whether we juke him, run around him, break a tackle somehow, some way, and I'm sure he'd tell you the same thing.
All right. Thank you. And thank you for the
Got it.
patience.
No problem.
Okay, final 2 or 3 seconds here. If you got something, let me know. Otherwise, looks like we're good. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.